Welcome to the Grand Potential. Today, we are so excited to have a woman that I met about 4 or 5 months ago. And immediately when I met this woman, I thought, wow, this woman is a powerhouse businesswoman that is serious about supporting businesses around the globe. She runs an absolutely purposeful networking organization and events, and I want to know her. So we invited her to partner with us at the Grand Connection, and we are so glad we did. And we've had a few partnerships that have been so successful, and I respect her for her wisdom and her knowledge, and we want to bring that wisdom and knowledge to you today on our podcast. So her name is Blaney Teal. She is the visionary and leader of MBX events. Now, she's led a number of events live, and now she's taken those events to go virtual. She did host 25 events a month. This is a woman who knows what she's doing. She brings years of business wisdom, business tools, and business resources, and she's an amazing event coordinator. Blainey, we are so excited to have you here today. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. This is exciting. Thank you guys so much.
We're honestly, it's our pleasure. And this series of podcasts that we're focusing is on creating certainty in uncertain times. And we also focus on our three core values with the Grand Connection. The three core values are, again, connect, create, and collaborate. And I will be facilitating just some questions for Blainey to go through the connect value. Susan will step in and focus on the second value, create, and talk about some of the specifics in the creation of Blainey's expertise. And we will finish up on collaborate. So Blainey, I'd like to ask you the first question. Now, you are so wise when it comes to business tools and resources. I'm curious about, how you got here. Like, how did you become so curious and intrigued with all these business tools and systems? I mean, your list is so long that you supply people. So how did it start? How did you go down this path?
As I look back to my early college days, believe it or not, I was always the techie one that had like the best computer and had to learn back then, Excel and Word before anybody knew what it was. And I am one of those do-it-yourselfers though. So I'm always, believe it or not, self-taught. So I just had this like curiosity all of my life. And I fell into this, honestly. I really did. Being an entrepreneur, you need to find tools, right, for your business. And so I would just go out, do research, I'd vet products, and then I'd implement them. And that evolved. I mean, I had a consignment business for 11 years and I was the solopreneur. So I had to figure out all the tools that I needed for my business. And then now with the new version of, COVID and what's going on, I had to figure out the new version of my networking event, right? Of what we're going to do online. And I had to find those tools. So it's kind of just inside of me, that curiosity and passion to find systems, that work. And I enjoy doing that. Like I really like, some people can't, and I actually like it.
Well, that's a unique strength because I mean, some of us do and some of us don't. I'm the don't side. Susan is the do side too. Also, what's the one thing that you wish you knew when you started your business?
That's a great question. So when I started my business, if I look back, I think one of the like challenges I had is I tried to be superwoman and do it all myself. Right? So I didn't ask for help. I didn't go to the leaders in business that are women or otherwise and be like, hey, what tools are you using? Because, why should I reinvent the wheel? But I did. Back then, the younger version of me, I reinvented the wheel. I was kind of like the lone wolf and I would just go out there. I was in the forefront, which is great, to be in the forefront of the cutting edge of technology and business. But I wish that I had known that there are other people out there that are walking the walk and talking the talk. And I wish that I was able to pick their brains back then. And that's one of the things now that I do look at people that are successful in business, in entrepreneurship or small business ownership, and what tools are they using? What is making their job easier, and what is making them more successful?
Right. And just having that courageous boldness to go out there and ask those types of questions has made a big difference in your business too. That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
And so if there was one myth about tools and resources and what you're so purposeful and passionate about, what would that myth be that you would like to debunk, that you'd like to share with people that really is a myth and not true?
Well, I think I don't know if it's a myth per se, but I think one of the misconceptions is that, there's every tool's not for everybody, right? So you really need to do your research and you need to look if that system's really going to serve you. So I think the myth is, oh, well, so-and-so's using it, it'll work for me. And that is not always true. It could be a monetary resource reason why you're not ready for that. It could be the size of your business, or it could just be an awesome tool, but it's not going to help you get to your end goal. So I think that's the biggest thing is like, don't look at it as, well, hey, Blainey uses all these tools, I have to use them too. No, they may not be for you. So just make sure that you are very purposeful in the tools that you decide to work with.
Right. And research, like you said.
Yes.
Critical.
Research for sure. Mm-hmm.
And this podcast is really about the grand potential, which I'm so purposeful and passionate about. So in your business, how do you set yourself up to continually build towards your grand potential? Like what do you think? What's your mindset around that?
Yeah, so my mindset is obviously one, I have the abundance mentality, and I always have. And, there's so many, and then that's why I met you wonderful ladies, right? Because we both had very similar, all three of us had very similar visions the day we met in about, that we can work together and that those connections are amazing. So leveraging those connections and just knowing that, it's okay if you meet somebody that does exactly what you do in the world. Actually learn from that. I have a client right now that I'm working with. We're creating a whole challenge for her. And, her mentor is actually helping her, like giving her email swipes, giving her samples of what she did, where she could have said, oh my gosh, she's my competitor, right? But no, she said, you know what? I'm going to help this individual because I've been there and I've done it. I don't want her to make the same mistakes that I did. And so that beautiful mentality is really where I just want to help. I don't care what you do. If I can help save you time and money and help you implement tools and systems in your business, then we're all going to be better for it. And that's where I go.
Wow. Absolutely love it. And Susan and I's philosophy with the Grand Connection, just to weave this into this moment, and that is that we look at ourselves as the connector of connectors. And so, I mean, this is clearly our value system aligning with each other. So I just inspires me so much. And in your own business, just to give a vision of what the next few years, the next 3 years for your business, so the audience can connect with your vision and direction for MBX events. What do you have in your vision?
Some very exciting things, actually. So it's not common knowledge yet, but because we've had some downtime to really do some introspect looking at where I'm serving. And you said I was holding 20 to 25 events per month just here in Maryland, right? In one state. And I found I was running myself ragged and I couldn't serve my people because I couldn't implement all the really cool perks and this and all these great things I wanted to do. So because I've had time to figure it out and look at my business model, and because I have met some of the most amazing people thanks to virtual networking, and I have people coming to me who are seeing my vision for networking, and it's different than what you guys do, and that's what I love about it. But we are going to be launching, so May 1st, 2017, I founded Maryland Business Connection MBX. So May 1st, 2021, we are rebranding as MBX Events, which is Making Business Connections. And we will be national and someday international. So we are getting ready, brand new website. We are launching areas. We don't call them chapters because we believe in the abundance mentality. So no one is excluded from our events, even if you do exactly what somebody else does or work for the same company. And it's about community. So I'm really excited. We're doing a big expo coming up at the end of April. for all business owners, entrepreneurs. And at the very last day, we will be making the announcement, and the new version of MBX and the new website will be live. And I'm just super excited because it's been almost a year since this idea kind of started, thinking in my brain. And now it's actually happening.
I'm super happy for you and excited for you.
Thank you.
And also, that internal aspect, that fuel and that fire, I can just feel your purpose and passion for moving towards this great vision. Very exciting. Very happy for you. I'm going to pass it over to Susan now, and she'll ask you a few questions about our second value, which is create.
Hey, Blainey, lovely to be here with you and to hear all of your exciting systems that you use. There's just so many that you can have. If somebody's a new business, so now we're talking about create, which is our second value. We need these systems in place to create the business we want. So I'd just like to jump into, the different areas of your business and where we might want to find a tool that will work within that system. So starting out first, like I'm brand new business, let's say, what should I start with? What do I need to get started with first? What area? And then what tool might work with that?
Right. So obviously it depends on your business, but the first thing you do is you need to get the systems set up in the very beginning, because it's really hard to go back, right, and try to add it. So if you're a brand new business, this is the best time to look at different systems. So number one, organization, right? How are you going to organize your files, your accounts, your clients? And there's a ton of tools to do that. Personally, I use Trello, and it's actually a free tool. It's an amazing organizational tool where for anything from brain dumping ideas to onboarding clients to keeping your passwords and all of one of the things I teach in my academy is called your digital business binder that every brand new business has to have. And that is a tool. It's actually a program that I put together so that when somebody says, hey, Susan, I need your EIN number. Hey, Susan, what are your hex code colors? Hey, Susan, what's your website? What's your LinkedIn? What's your Facebook? You have one tool that you can find on any computer, on any phone, and you don't need to go, oh, it's in my notebook back at home and I'm traveling, right? Like you can't find it, or you got to call your assistant and say, hey, can you look up our EIN number or get us a W-9? So like the digital business binder is really basically the basic of your business.
I should send some of my clients there, because I'll have clients and they will have done branding for them, many years ago, or, we create their logins for their new website, and they're calling me up all the time asking for these things. Like, I need my logo. Well, we sent the logo files to you 3 years ago. You should have them. And then I have to, and they can't find them. And, it's just that they didn't have that system to start saving them. And they'll be in old emails, and those emails may be archived or gone. If you've changed email providers 3-4 years ago, you may not even have those. So creating, when you get started, that foundation of, this is where all my stuff is going to go, like your kitchen cabinet, right? Like when you move into a new house, you figure out, where are those cups? Are they going to be near the dishwasher, right?
Right. Exactly. So, and if you are speaking on like podcasts or speaking, what are the things that people ask for, right? Your bio, your headshot, your logo. Like you need to have all that so easy that when somebody needs it, you're not like searching for weeks. Like you said, looking through old emails, trying to find where your photographer sent you headshots 2 years ago or 6 months ago even.
Yeah. And so and any tool could work. You could, even if you have a system of, these are where the folders are in my Google Drive, as long as you plan out that system around it. You said you use Trello. How do you use Trello to do this?
So I create a board, and it's called my digital business binder. And then I have lists. So each board will have a list. So the list will be branding. And then each card will be something. So my hex codes, my headshots, my logos, my marketing photos, whatever, my bio, whatever it would be. Then I have one that's like links. So in there is it's same thing. I have a card for every one. I have LinkedIn, I have Facebook, I have YouTube, I have Pinterest, I have Twitter, I have my lead magnet link, right? If somebody wants to give out like my free gift link, it's all on link. Then I'll have like programs that I've purchased. The number one mistake I see that people make sometimes in business is you buy a lot of shiny objects, and then you never, ever, ever even implement them or look at them again. They get lost in your email trail. You forgot you even bought it. So I teach my clients, one of the actual list is programs or products you bought. And in that card then is the name of the product. It's the link to go find it. It's the login password. And it's also if it's a recurring fee or a monthly fee, right? Because sometimes you need to look at like the things that you're using for your business. I like things that you pay one time and you own them for free if I can find a good resource for that versus a monthly recurring thing. So I try to steer my clients to a one-time purchase if it makes sense. But if not, you need to know that service is costing you $37 a month, $97 a month, because what happens eventually you're gonna be like, oh, I'm not using that anymore, right? And then I have other different lists. So I have lists for my affiliate links, right? For all of my different, I have a list for my collaboration partners where I have your information in there, right? So if I want to call you up to do a project, I have your names, your business name, and your phone numbers all in there. And you can add other things like favorite podcasts, favorite books, but your business binder is everything that's built around your business. And it's just done in a free Trello account. That's it.
That's amazing. I'm feeling inspired. Today I had a client call me and their Instagram plugin wasn't working, so it's not feeding the Instagram in. And we've spent 30 minutes trying to find that token, which was in some email a long time ago. And they are supposed to, it's the client's responsibility, but I should be, I'm thinking I need to get some of these business binders set up for each client too.
Right.
So
you can have a board for each client. And I will give you guys one tip too. What's really cool about the business binder and Trello in general is there's a search bar at the top. So you don't really have to remember which card or which board or even which list you put it in. If I went Blainey's bio, and I know that's what I named it. If I just go the top of my Trello account and I type in Blainey's bio, it's going to show me all the different boards or cards that I put my bio on. And bio links to my Google Drive. It's not actually in there. It's just a link to my Google Drive. But it's just amazing because you don't need to sit there and go, now, which board is that on or which folder? Like literally you could just put in, Blainey's whatever, and it will find it. And then you can go right to that card. So it's amazing.
An important part of that to be able to search, because I do SEO consulting, is to name your naming convention for all of the files or whatever you're saving, so that when you are searching, you can find it. Do you have a specific rules for naming conventions you teach your clients?
No, just like you said, you want to name it something that makes sense and get rid of all the characters and make sure you don't misspell it. I've done that before, and then you can't find it because you typoed it wrong. But I don't have a real system. Just, make sure that you're real specific though when you are saving files. I always rename. Like I do a lot of lives, and as soon as I'm done, I will rename it to something that I know I can find, because who knows where it's saved on my computer, right? Things just sometimes disappear. But yeah, just be really specific. And when you're in your binder, again, Blainey's bio, right? Like Facebook link, Instagram link, like be really specific. And if you're mindful when you're setting it up, then you're not going to waste time chasing, right? Trying to figure out what did I save that as. But it's a pretty smart search. So if I just put in Blainey, everything with my name in it would come up, and I could probably find my bio. But the more specific you are, the easier it's going to be to find that record.
Yeah, I put in a lot of keywords. So I'll put in the event name, the name of the speakers at the event, the date of the event, so that, when I'm looking for it 2-3 years down the line, I can still find that and it'll come up in search. So very good idea. So we've talked about organizing. So getting your stuff organized, your files, your information, all the things you need to get to people quickly, passwords. A lot of people use LastPass, something like that. Do you use that? Or you said you put your passwords in Trello?
So LastPass is great. I use that. I do have them in Trello just because if I'm in there looking at that specific thing, I also know what they are. I can grab them. And then also, of course, I have my Chrome browser that just reminds, one click and they're already populated in there. So, but yeah, LastPass, any of those wonderful password keepers is definitely recommended. I can give you guys one little tip though, and this is just something that one of my MBX members taught us that might be helpful to some of your listeners in regards to passwords. So this is a really cool system to try to remember passwords, because every site is different, right? So there's Amazon, there's Walmart, there's Next for Success, there's MBX. So, and he was an IT guy. So, and then maybe you'll appreciate this. So he said, come up with a phrase, right? So it can be, I love crabs, whatever, I love Maryland crabs, whatever. Come up with a phrase. And you count the letters that are in the name of the site. So Amazon, right? So 6 letters, MBX, 3 letters. And then you go over and you come up with your own formula. So let's say you're going to go over to the third and you're going to change it to that number, right? So the third letter in I love Maryland crabs or I love crabs, whatever, the third letter, you would change it to 6. instead of 6. So it would be whatever. You know what I'm talking about. So you would just change it. So you come up with a formula. So no matter what site you're on, you know that you just are changing the numbers out based on the site. And because it's a long phrase, people are not going to be able to figure it out. It's much harder because it's a long phrase. And then, of course, adding in like a character. So maybe, starting or ending with a weird character. But it's coming up with your own formula. And then, so none of your passwords are the same because every site, has a same formula. And that has changed my life in terms of helping even remember passwords because I don't have to have them saved because I know my formula. So once you create the formula, you can pretty much go into any site and create your password on that formula. So just a little tip I learned, and I think it's very helpful.
I love watching Carolyn write down all these things on her pieces of paper, and she's so excited because this month is about getting organized for us. It's March's Make It Happen March. And we've been doing so much to get organized that it's just been phenomenal. Okay, so we've talked about organizing your stuff. How about you're dealing with sales and marketing? What tools and systems do you use for that?
Right. So I was just going to say a brand new business owner needs to figure out their follow-up system, right? You need to figure out a couple of things. So number one, a CRM, which is a customer relations manager, whatever you want to use. And there's several, and they're depending on what you want to do. And then also your email. How are you going to follow up with people through using an email marketing service? So they can be one and the same. There are some email marketing services that offer CRM. So that is out there, or you could use two different. It just really depends on how you do your pipeline, your sales flow, what works for you. And again, that's why I'm saying, depending on a very low budget, believe it or not, you can use Trello to start out with, because you can literally create a board that's my prospects, right? And you can say, met them at networking, did a one-to-one with them, did a presentation with them, and you just slide the card across, which is so cool about Trello. You just pick it up and slide it. So you literally could do a free, prospect track in Trello for those that are on a really small budget. And then of course you can go really robust, with Salesforce or Sales Rocket. And so what I have been recommending lately to my clients, and again, this changes because this depends on technology. There's a couple of email services that I use, and I use them for different reasons. People are like, why do you have 3 email services? I said, because each one has a different reason behind why I use it. So for my main funnels and communications and automations for where people are opting in, so they're opting in for a newsletter, they're opting in for my free book, they're opting in for a summit or an expo, I'm using Sendinblue. And Sendinblue has a CRM built in. Sendinblue is one of the easiest to use for me, because I like the visualization of the way the flow goes for automation. It's very visual. It just works. It's simple, it works. And the CRM is not 100% there yet. So one of the things that I look for in a CRM is the win-lose, right? I want to be able to market won or market loss, right? I want to be able to do triggers, and it's coming though. So, but other than that, it has a great little CRM where you can take notes, you can edit tasks, you can see all the emails that you've sent them and which ones they've opened. And Sendinblue is free for up to 300 emails a day. So a small business owner who isn't sending out 300 emails a day, which most of them are not, it's free. And then you can, and it's just really affordable, and it's unlimited lists and unlimited tags. And it's just really a great platform. And I've been using it for about 7 years, believe it or not. It's one of those things that's kind of been under the wire. Most people have never heard of it, but now it's getting out there, and I've been using it for a very long time.
That's one of the ones we deal with marketing automation integrations all the time, and I've never heard of that one. So something new to check out, because you don't know. Sometimes you find these smaller businesses that are not the top ones, and their rates are very affordable. They've got the same services. Sometimes you can buy them outright and you're not paying that monthly subscription. So is this one monthly, or is this one a buy outright?
It is monthly, but I pay, I think, $25 a month for 100,000 emails. I mean, it's crazy. It's so I've used Constant Contact for 10 years. I've used MailChimp for 5 years. And then I do have one other email responder that I use more for email blast, right? If I just have a big list and I want to send out a blast, I use a company called Robly. And I'll tell you why I love Robly. Robly is smart. It works on artificial intelligence. So my favorite feature that Robly does that I haven't found anybody else to do yet is when you set up an email, you're able to set up a second email to go out within 1 to 10 days at a specific time if you want, with a different subject line, but it's the same email. So you send out 5,000 emails and 4,000 don't open it within a certain period. You say 3 days. If they don't open it, it resends out the email with a different subject line that you chose. So hopefully that one will get a better open rate. Honestly, I get 50% better open rates because of the artificial intelligence. And then it has a second thing called Robly Engage. It somehow knows when Susan or Blaney or Carolyn opens their email box. And literally, it will not send that email to the box until they know you're going to be in there. And so it will always be at the top of the person's email list versus 3 hours before or 10 hours before, buried under many, many more emails. So I use that. I don't use that for my automations when I'm doing day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, but I do use it for a newsletter blast because I want high open rates and I'm usually sending out bulk, 5,000 emails at a time. And Robly's not that expensive either. I don't know, 30, 40 bucks a month, maybe. I mean, we're not talking huge dollars here. And it's just drop and drag, just like MailChimp. But that artificial intelligence, it is amazing. And you don't have to go in and segment who didn't open it and then create another email and send it out. It automatically sets it up. It has been, and again, I found this from a friend of mine about 3 years ago, started using it for my MBX. That's where we send our newsletters from. That's the one that we do newsletters from because we get really good open rates.
So just to let everybody know who's listening, who's probably trying to find a pen and paper to write down these things, you are giving us it'll be in the show notes, a list of all of the resources, right? What do you call it? Your toolbox?
It is it's Blaney's exclusive resource guide. And this is the list of everything that I am currently using or that I recommend for my clients. And it is got links for everything. So you can click on it, go to their page, check out the sales page, see if it makes sense for you and your business. That way you guys aren't sitting there misspelling things, and we'll make sure you get a copy and the resource guide is always changing. So it's not a PDF. You're not going to download it and lose it on your computer or print it out. When you open it up, you want to make sure you bookmark the page and go back to it often and see what other resources, because resources are always changing. I just added 6 new resources this month that I've added to my business that are really, really affordable, impactful communication, like how to get testimonials from your clients with one click. You literally send them a link, it opens on their phone, they can leave you a testimony, and it gets sent right back to you on a landing page with all the testimonials. How easy is that? Nobody has to know tech. All they have to do is open their phone and they can get a testimonial instantly from a client.
From the phone? How is it? So it's transcribing it?
No, so you send them a link and say, here, I'd love to have a testimonial from you. You can text it to them, email it to them. Okay. They open it, they can do it on a computer too, but most people seem to work from their phones these days, right? So literally it opens up, it opens up their camera, it tells them to hold it like, this way. And they say hi. And actually it even has like what questions you want them to answer. So I tell them what I want from them. They read the kind of script. And then when they give permission for you to use that in marketing, because that's what mine is for, then it goes back to your side, your side, whatever you want to call it, so that you can then you can download it to your computer, put it on your website, but it also makes a landing page where all the videos are. So if you just want to link to that from your website or from your Facebook or wherever, all of your testimonials are on one page. So that one is in the guide. So you can find that one down towards the bottom under like advanced. I think it's under the advanced section. It is called Video Peel. So, but it's in the guide there. And I think if you click through my link, you usually get like a fun, like special offer or whatever. So, but that one has changed my life because I used to pull teeth to get testimonials out of my clients and customers. And then half the time I'd ask them to do a video and it would come in this way, which I can't use on my website because it has to be this way to look better on my website. So I'm like, this is amazing. It is and you could brand the whole thing so it looks like your landing page with your logo, and you just send them the link. And in in-person events, how fun is it you can be like, hey, text something to something, and then you send them the link while you're at a live event, whether it's virtual or not, guys. Then people can get out and leave a testimonial for you on video in person or right after the event's over.
Carolyn, do you want to just say something? Carolyn is in shock right now because I've heard of most of these tools, and I see them in use by all my clients. But this is new to you.
Well, I'm absolutely blown away. My mouth is hanging open. I am in shock. One of the most purposeful things in your business is getting testimonials. I usually do testimonials for clients and video them and edit them and go to all this detail and hours of work. I'm just sitting here going, oh my goodness, Blainey, it's so good. I feel like my brain has just been opened up to this amazing new world of technology. So for those of you that are sitting there going, wow, this is good. It is good. It's very good. I'm just creatively going into avenues of thinking how we can use this at the Grand Connection and how we can build our community for them to know what I call truth marketing, which is what a testimonial is. I mean, hearing and feeling the vibe from someone telling the truth about the value that you represent. Oh my goodness. I'm talking priceless. I mean, Blainey, I just, I was sitting there thinking, I just want to be in that woman's head. I just want to have all the intelligence that Blainey has, transported into my brain. I just think what is so good, Blainey, and it's just such a blessing for all these businesses to hear what you're saying right now. I just am so thrilled right now. So thank you. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And that's why I made the guide, guys, because people kept saying, what are you using? What are you using? How are you doing this? And I love that people say, how did you do your signature? I have this, it signs my signature on my emails. They're like, how did you do that? Oh, that is this. And they're like, so I just create the guide because then it's all there and it's easy for people to just go in and pick and choose what tools they want. And sometimes I have 2 or 3 of the exact same tool. But again, like I said, I have a couple different autoresponders depending on what I'm doing with them. And again, it just depends on your budget, where you're starting from, and where are you going? Because you need to make sure that it scales with you too. Because one thing you don't want to be doing is switching products every 2 months. Like, oh, I tried this one, that didn't, I'm going to try this one. And like, do your homework, do your research, and try to make a really good decision. A great example is, with MBX, we're relaunching. So I need a new membership site, right? I need a new membership module. Because one of the things we're doing is we are going to be having profit sharing, like where we're going to be, it's like an affiliate. When people bring in members, they get paid a referral fee. Well, to do that, it has to be automated. There is no way that we have 400 members now. What happens when we have 1,000 members referring people across the United States? I'm not going to go manually look it up and try to pay every month on people. So I've been doing my research. I've been investigating membership software that works with iDev Affiliate because I already own that and I love it. And to try to make it simple so people can just give out, mbxevents.com/Blainey or whatever the affiliate ID would be. And all of a sudden, everybody they refer to MBX will be tracked to them so that I can give credit to that. So again, I've taken a lot of time because I don't want to move people to one membership site on May 1st and then June 1st be like, ooh, that was a bad decision. Now I got to move them all again. Like I got to put their credit cards in again. Like that's going to be frustrating on their end and mine. So just do your homework and, ask questions, look at other people that are using it, and then just be sure that, and again, but I have to admit, I do change products every now and then because something off the charts, like I was a ClickFunnels user 100% for the last 3 years until I found CloudFunnels and DropFunnels. And then I'm like, it does the same thing for less money and I've tested it, it works. Why would I want to keep paying for something when I can get something as good or better for less?
So one thing you just said in there is you tested it and it works. To just, if you're going to switch, don't just say, I'm going to go. It's such a big job to switch platforms, especially like your CRM and your email marketing. You've got so many in the funnels and those are all set up and integrated. So if you're thinking about switching, try out the other one, keep the 2 running simultaneously and just test one campaign in the new tool first before you switch, so that you can make sure that it works. And then something like a membership, oh my gosh, because you've got all these other users using it, to make them switch is a big, big, big deal. And the time commitment you have on just the training when people start a new one, how many people are going to be phoning you when you get the new system in place because they're so used to the old one? So you want to be ready for that. Yeah.
And it was been a hard decision because I've been wanting to switch for a while. And like I said, but now is the time, because I have the time. We're launching the new company, so it makes sense. And yeah, believe me, I've spent hours on demos with membership services, and the majority of them don't work with affiliate programs. So that's kind of new to them. Like they don't understand that. But there is a couple that do. So that narrowed it down for me once I realized that the ones I wanted, it was going to cost me $5,000 to create my own API that I'd have to maintain and I'm like, yeah, no, like I don't need to be having an IT guy to make sure my API doesn't stop working. Because if it does, then all the referrals stop working. So again, I want to use something that's proven, that it has a track record, that I know isn't going to cause me too many headaches. And then hopefully it's something that will continue to grow with me. And then I won't have to make any more switches because yeah, switching is not fun.
So one last system that I think is so important for all us is our calendaring and booking. What are you doing for that?
Absolutely. So personally, I use Calendly, but there's also a brand new one out for those of you that want to just try. It's called TidyCal, TIDYCAL, TidyCal. And of course, there's Acuity. So any of those work. What you want to look for though is, and I'm still, same thing, I'm testing out both. So I have Calendly, I've been using that for years. And then TidyCal is another version that's going to be, it's coming on the market and it's a little bit more affordable, which is great and has all the integrations that the Calendly paid version has for free. So like that's like Zoom and Zapier and all of that. So, but there are certain things that you need to make sure it does. Like number one, it needs to sync with your Google Calendar or your iCloud calendar. Like if you are not able to put everything in one spot, then don't use it. And then for me, it has to sync with Zoom, right? Because I do my Zoom meetings. I don't want to have to go back and set up every single meeting. And then the second thing is accept paid time. So like if somebody wants to sign up for a session with me on one-on-one coaching, they can pay at the time that they're booking. That's important to me. I don't have to send an invoice. And so that's one of the nice things that TidyCal does is the free version allows for paid meetings. So again, I'm still researching it. I can't tell you it's going to be the bomb, but so far it's looking great. And I'm going to start using it. It does sync with Google and all of that. So I'm going to start using it for like certain things coming up, just as certain calendars to see how it works. And then eventually, like again, my goal is to not break your bank. That's what I always tell my clients. It's like my goal is if you have so many systems and it's costing you more than you're bringing in an income, you need to look at what's going on, because that's not helping you save money, save time, and shorten the learning curve, right? So if you can find something that works as well. So like, for instance, in my guide, there's an alternative to Zapier that nobody knows about. And the alternative to Zapier is way less expensive. I was paying $111 a month for Zapier because of all the Zaps I have. And I'm now paying $15 for the exact same automation.
What tool is that?
So it's called Integrately. And it's in my resource guide. So it's called Integrately, and it is amazing. And it is easy. And I switched all of my clients off of Zapier now because Zapier, they were a monopoly, and I'm sorry, but it's true. They didn't do affiliate programs. They don't do referral fees, and they're the only one out there that everybody needs. And they're charging through the roof, especially if you need like multi-steps where if then kind of algorithms going on there and stuff. And Integrately is amazing. And so I've been switching all of my Zaps over to there. They all work seamlessly. And they have a free version. So like the free Zap is 100 free Zaps. Integrately is 300 free Zaps. And then it just goes up from there. It just goes up from there. I literally canceled my $111 a month. So now I can, have more money in my pocket, or I can go invest in some other tools that I may have wanted to do. So that's why I'm saying don't buy something just because you think you need it. Wait till you need it, then implement it, pick the best one, and then don't be afraid to change, but only if it makes sense. Like in my case, going to Zap to Integrately makes a ton of sense. Even though it means I have to recreate some Zaps, I don't care. Like to save $90 a month is a huge, especially if you're a startup company and you're just looking to get all these funnels and integrations and Eventbrite and all these things going together. You need Zapier or you need Integrately.
I'm going to look at Integrately now. What I don't like about the Zaps is you also, there's an unknown. You don't know, you get somebody set up using a Zap and then you're not sure based on the volume, how much it's going to cost them later. Cause a lot of it's volume based. And so something goes really big and suddenly that wasn't the right tool because it would have been more affordable using something else. You're not sure. Yeah. So there's so much out there and it can be overwhelming. How do you stay centered in this place?
So I have a Trello board. You guys are going to hear me say this a lot, and I put this in my clients. I literally have a Trello board where I put all of the systems on that I learn about. And I suggest you guys do this too. Like all these systems that I'm talking about, or you go into my guide, is to start a Trello board and have a list that says, you know, Blainey's resources, list each one as a card, and then have, I need to do now, I want to do, maybe I want to do, right? Or something like that. And then you slide them into where you prioritize them. Because the last thing you want to do is try to implement 10 tools at the same time. You will go bananas. And again, you want to make sure that every tool works. So it's not just implementing it, it's then testing it, right? To make sure that all the systems are working in order and then move on to the next tool. And just like you don't, if you start to, you get overwhelmed, right? And then you freeze and you paralyze. So if you try to implement too many things at once, you're not going to get anything done. So I always say, go through my resource guide, look at where you are now. Do you have a CRM that's working? Then don't worry about that. Put that, maybe I might want to investigate Blainey's suggestion 3 months from now, right? Do you have, you know, an email campaign? Maybe you don't. Maybe you're using MailChimp. And like I said, MailChimp gets really expensive too, because all of my automations, I have a lot of tags, right? A lot of lists. And when you start doing that in MailChimp, even though it's free up to 2,000 contacts, it's only one list. So you can't segment each person going into your challenge or your book or whatever. You have, they're all mumble jumbled. And, you know, so again, starting out, great, do it. But then eventually you're going to have to find another way to be able to segment your list better, because you want good open rates. So you want to make sure you're being very targeted on where you send your people. But you guys will hear me say Trello, because it really is, I have it on my phone, I have it on my tablet, and anywhere I go, if I had ID in the middle of the night, if I buy a product in the middle of the night, like oh God, I want to have this tool. I literally, as soon as I get the email that says, here's your login, here it is, I open up Trello on my phone. I don't care if at the dinner table, if I'm laying in bed, and I make sure that I do a new card on there that says whatever that tool is, whatever the login is, whatever the password is, whatever the price is. Because if you don't, tomorrow morning, I'm going to have 1,500 emails on top of it, and it will get buried, and I will forget. So that's my tips, is just don't try to do it all at once. Prioritize what do you need right now in your business to make you more successful? What one tool? Is it testimonials? Is that something that's been missing, right? You know, is it using like videos in your email? That's something else I teach, is doing these this one software does really cool videos in your email. It does a video bubble on your website. So when people, instead of having ManyChat or whatever down there, it's actually you on a video saying, hey, it's Blainey, you know, it's like, and they can click to chat, text, or email. Like there's some fun things you can implement. And there's things that you can say, okay, well, I don't need that right now. I'm just starting out. But 6 months from now, when I got all my website done, I'm ready to implement the video bubble at the bottom instead of a chat bot, right?
Exciting, exciting. And one thing I heard you say in this, it reminds me is when you get that email with the login, you put it on the Trello board. That is a habit. So you've created that habit in your life or your business life that you are staying organized and putting that stuff into that foundational organizational system that you set up at the start. We're circling.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Susan. And when I tell my clients the first time we set up this business binder is, I'm like, all right, guys, you got to go to your email now. And I want you to search for the word receipt, confirmation, login, password, and find all of those things that you've bought, whether it's a freebie download, if it's a course, if it's a program, a product, a service. And it takes them, and I tell them, do 10 minutes a day, right, for 10 days, and just go try to find all those missing things that they've bought that they want to read, they want to look at or implement, but they forgot they even bought it. So yes, if you teach yourself the habit of, okay, when the new email comes in, I don't care what I'm doing, just get it into the Trello board, because I refer to my Trello board all the time. And you can in the list in the Trello board, like I can move that product up to the top, which means I need to implement it, right? So I always drag it up to the top. The ones at the top are the ones I'm working with right now, trying to get implemented. And the ones at the bottom are ones that I've already implemented. And Trello, you can color code. So you can color code, you know, green is done or red is done or whatever you want to do, so that it's color coded at the bottom. You know, you've completed, implemented, and that task is done. You can hide it, but I don't, because I still like to know my tools. You might want to go back and make sure they're still working every now and then, right? Make sure that the integrations are doing what they're doing.
Well, we'd love to see your boards there, Blainey. Carolyn, I'm going to pass it over to you. I know you're super thrilled. We're going to be at our next meeting. I'm sure Carolyn's going to be saying, Trello, we need to set up Trello.
You're right, Susan. Good intuition going on there. And Blainey, gosh, thank you so much for being here. And I love your headset. I love your absolute discipline. Oh, you're inspiring to all of us. And, people, we need what Blainey knows here. We do. And this is a part of our business that a lot of people avoid and think they don't need it. You do. If you want to scale up, if you want to create more time for yourself, more freedom, more flexibility to do all those things that you love to do besides your business, this is critical to be serious about this and look at it. So I'm going to move over to collaborate, the third value, which happens to be one of my favorites. And, we don't do this alone, do we, Blainey? No, we don't. And so I'm curious about the two people in your life that really have been, you said earlier when we were chatting before the podcast, that are your big influencers. Who are the two people that really have created impact for you in your business to really create this foundation of your purpose and passion and curiosity and vision? Just curious who they are.
That's actually a really hard one for me because I take a lot, honestly, from a lot of people. Like I follow a lot of great people that are business owners as well as motivational. So I know it's kind of crazy, but I have a really good friend of mine, and this has nothing to do with systems or automations, but she has shaped my life. She's an emotion code practitioner, and she has helped me get unstuck. And, I think that's so much your mindset is really what drives your success. And I was telling her today, I'm like, I don't know where I would be if I didn't start working with her a year ago. I mean, she is a life coach, but she's also just so much more. So she's the opposite of me. She's zero tech. So it's so amazing. Like she's inspired me because she brings out the best in me. And then I'm able to give back to her and help her. So I'm actually starting a podcast, and it's called Bite Size Business Tips with Blaney Teal, from logo to launch. And she was my inspiration for that because we literally took her from nothing. She didn't have a business. I was her guinea pig with her business. And I helped her figure out, where do you go to get a logo? How do we name your thing? How do we get a Facebook group? How do we get a Facebook page? How do we get a membership area? How do we do Calendly? How do we integrate? And so I've been working with her. And like doing that and walking through that journey with her is an inspiration for me, number one, because seeing her get clients, and she landed like these amazing clients. And she's like, I can't believe I just did that. I'm like, yeah, because you had it in you. We just had to get it out tech-wise, right? We had to get it out to the world. So I have to say, her name is Lorene Shefchick, and she's an emotion code practitioner, and she's just a beautiful person. And she has inspired me. We've been friends for over 20 years. And she said to me a long time ago, Blainey, you have so much up here. And like you said, and it's not anywhere else. And this was years ago. She's like, you have so many skills and so many talents, superpowers, right? We have so many, as women, we have so many superpowers. And she's like, you need to find a way to share them with the world. And, when COVID hit and MBX had to pivot, all of this just started to shine for me, and she helped bring that out. And then I will say the second person, believe it or not, is Forbes Riley. I don't know if you know who she is, but she is the pitch queen of HSN here, and she's on the Home Shopping Network. She's sold millions and millions of products. She has made the Spin Gym thing, but I met her through a friend of her friend. So talking about collaboration, right? I was putting on the Passionpreneur Summit in August, an online summit, and I was introduced to her. And she was one of my keynote speakers, and she is a motivational speaker. She's been on huge stages with Grant Cardone and just amazing people. And her face is every day on HSM, but I don't shop there, but I used to. So she invited me to collaborate with her on this book. And just today, my daughter walks in my office and goes, Mom, are you reading that book? That is flipping huge. And she's 14. And I said, your mom actually has a chapter in this book. I said, but this book is in the Guinness Book of World Record for the largest book on entrepreneurism. I would have never had the opportunity to be in this book, to be around amazing leaders that are worldwide. I have Forbes Riley on speed dial. It's like, I cannot thank her enough. She has just been an inspiration. She has connected with me on so many levels. And I just love who she is as a person and as a mentor. And I don't know if she's techie or not. It doesn't matter. I love her energy. And I think when you're around people with good energy, it brings out the best energy in you, right? And then you are more productive. And like I said, and I have, we stayed on a call for an hour after the Passionpreneur Summit, and we got really personal, you know? And it was absolutely amazing. The insight she shared with me, again, has changed my life today. So the name of this book, by the way, is One Habit for Entrepreneurial Success. And it's 300 life-changing habits to turbocharge your business. Now, it's not a start to finish book. You're not going to pick it up and read all 800 pages. You're literally going to flip to a page. You're going to open it up to one of the chapters. You're going to read it and see if that habit resonates with you. And if that habit resonates with you, you're going to implement it. And if it doesn't, you're going to do it again. And you're going to pick another chapter, and you're going to read their habit. So, my habit was to touch your business every day, because so times our life gets in the way. So many times you go 90 days hard and then you take 3 months off, and then your business plummets. And I learned a long time ago, if you just do something every single day in your business and you get those systems, those habits in place, whether it's 10 minutes of phone calls or 10 minutes of emailing or whatever it is, something on your business, you will be successful. And you can't take off for months and months and months and just walk away from your business and expect it to keep going on autopilot unless you have systems in place. So you can put some systems in place that allow you to go on vacation and money still be coming in or clients still being serviced. But you can't just think that you're going to put a lot of work in and then walk away.
Oh my goodness. My chest just feels so inspired right now. Everything that you're saying is absolutely the truth, people. Like, listen, hear it, and realize that this is the absolute truth. And what I love that you said, Blainey, is that your whole entire collaboration or circle of influence and the people that you're collaborating with now is so inspiring to you and your position and where you're going. I mean, to me, that's what collaboration is. It's about sharing our energy. It's about sharing our resources, our tools, our ideas, our convictions to really build that momentum in our business to move forward and make it happen, because this is Make It Happen March. So it's just so great. And that's all I have to say in collaboration, because you wrapped it up with a beautiful bow. So thank you. And I'm curious about how people can get a hold of you. I know that you mentioned some of your programs that you do, also your digital business binder. You have so share with us how we can connect with you, create opportunities for ourselves to collaborate with you, Blainey, and take our next step here.
So number one, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm the only Blaney Teal out there, so that's easy for those of you listening. I also have a website. It's Next4, F-O-R-E, not the number, next4success.com. And that's just a kind of a generic page about me in there. But if you want to reach out to me also in regards to like the academy, where I teach you how to implement tools, systems, and automations. We go live once a week inside of this academy. And then all of the trainings for the last 9 months are also there for you to go back and find. Do you want social media help? Do you want LinkedIn help? Do you want ManyChat help? Whatever it would be, you can go to resources.next4success.com. So resources.next4success.com. And then if you want my freebie, that's really easy. Just go to next4success.biz/free gift, but it must all be a lowercase. So next4success.biz/free gift, all lowercase. You will get my Blainey's exclusive resource guide that normally I only do give this to my paying clients. So I want to let the listeners know that this is something that I'm doing very special, because Susan and Carolyn had me on today, that normally is reserved for my clients only. So, but it's there for just go grab it and then use it, and then reach out to me if you need help implementing things. But again, you can find me at next4success.com or just Google me. It's pretty easy. I'm the only Blaney Teal out there.
That's wonderful. And there's one other aspect too that I'd like you to share just at the end here, this big event that you have coming up.
Right. So for those of you that are looking to network, my networking organization is mbxevents.com. But we are putting on the end of April the huge, it's going to be epic. It is Small Business Virtual Extravaganza. It is April 29th, April 30th, and May 1st. It is going to be not only networking, it is going to be expo booth, so you can go in and chat with different vendors that maybe you need somebody to help you with your logo, or maybe you need new credit card processing, or maybe you want to get healthy. There's going to be tons of expo booths. And then there's also going to be speakers on the main stage and in breakout rooms. And this is not a Zoom and it's not a Facebook. It is a really unique platform to give you that entire expo conference experience. So just go to smallbusinessvirtualextravaganza.com and check out the landing page for that. We are looking for speakers, we're looking for exhibitors, and of course, attendees.
Great. Thank you. And thank you so much for coming on the Grand Potential podcast. We thank you so much for contributing all this wisdom, all these tools, all these resources, your mindset and your vision. It's so inspiring to all of us. And we wish you the absolute most success, Blainey. And I'm so glad I met you that one day 4 or 5 months ago, and that we are just amazing collaborative organizations with the Grand Connection with Susan and I and yourself. So thank you so much.